Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about understanding the sensitized nervous system. I get this question a lot about what is my nervous system doing and why does it do it that way? Because when we talk about these things, we often don't have all the background information. So I'm kind of taking a step back here and sharing about the nervous system and how you can understand how it got to be sensitized and what that means for you. So let's start by talking about the concept of nervous system sensitization, what it is and why it's happening for those who are experiencing anxiety or high stress or things like that are under the anxiety umbrella, OCD and the like. The nervous system is in a state of heightened alertness. In this oversensitized state, even normal stimuli can seem overwhelming, and the body reacts as if it's constantly in danger. So here's one of the things I want you to hear. The nervous system sensitization is our nervous system is responsible for stress. And when it becomes sensitized, our body starts reacting intensely to things that previously wouldn't trigger such reactions. And then the spectrum. As mentioned, the nervous system sensitization exists on a spectrum, ranging from mildly sensitive to intense overreaction. Now, mild sensitivity would be like feeling slightly uncomfortable or not being at ease. It's just kind of mild. To intense overreaction, which is where even everyday tasks become overwhelming. Or as I used to like to describe it for myself, the way the wind was blowing could make me triggered into fight or flight. I was so sensitive, and that just came from being overwhelmed for too long. And so everything that was hitting my nervous system was needing to be reacted to with fight or flight. And again, it can be on that spectrum of mild sensitivity to intense overreaction. I found myself on the intense overreaction piece. Thank God I am not there any longer, and you don't need to be there either. So we're going to explain here today how long-term stress and chronic anxiety cause our nervous system to get stuck in this heightened state, leading to sensitizations and sensations such as heart palpitations, dizziness, and muscle tension. These are physiological symptoms of a nervous system in overdrive. At this point, our response to stress becomes automatic, even when there's no actual threat. And I want you to hear that because what I hear from people all the time is, but nothing was going on. I wasn't upset about anything. I wasn't nervous. But you didn't need to be when you are already in this long-term stress or chronic anxiety where you're stuck in this heightened state. You don't need anything big to push you over into a fight or flight reaction. It can be automatic from something very small, even when there is no actual threat or thought. One of the key parts of the sensitized state is the cycle that we get ourselves into of fear, adrenaline, fear. Now, many of you might be very familiar with this. When we are in this sensitization, every fear causes more adrenaline, which causes more fear, And this cycle can just go on endlessly. It's creating a feedback loop that can be difficult to break if you don't understand what is going on. So I want you to understand the fear, adrenaline, fear cycle. When you feel fear, your body produces adrenaline and cortisol. It's a cascade of hormones. And this adrenaline can heighten physical sensations and feelings of panic, which then trigger more fear in your mind because you think something is wrong with you or something is about to happen, leading you to more adrenaline. This is a vicious cycle that exacerbates anxiety. And once you are stuck in it, again, unless you are understanding what is happening, it can be difficult to break because it's a normal thing to have these bodily reactions to fear and to then have your mind fear what these bodily reactions are. It is a normal thing, but you are stuck in it because you can't break it in one place or the other. But you can break it. It's just that without understanding it enough, you won't know where to break it. Now, what about the role of your mind in this, right? Because we're talking about hormones cascading, causing you physical sensations. What about the mind? It was Claire Weeks. She's a pioneer in the treatment of anxiety, and she talked about feeling bewildered by these sensations. I love that word, bewildered. When we don't understand what's happening in our body and mind, we begin to fear the sensations themselves. And this fear of the fear only intensifies the problem. It's important to convey here that the body's responses, like the feeling of the racing heart or the tightness in the chest, are simply physiological reactions to perceived danger. These are not signs that something is truly wrong, but rather a reflection of the nervous system being in a heightened state. Now, obviously, if you have physical sensations that are a problem for you, you will want to run these by your healthcare team. I am not saying that all of your physical sensations are from your anxiety. I will hope that as we go along and as you listen here more, you will begin to be able to tease these out. But whenever you are in doubt, please check with your healthcare team. They can lead you. Now let's talk about how stress and fear intensify the cycle. The cycle can become more challenging when we have chronic stress in our lives. Stress can be caused by so many different factors, right? It can be work, relationships, health concerns, financial pressures. And over time, chronic stress, even if it's low-grade chronic stress, can wear down our nervous system, making it more reactive. This makes us more susceptible to feelings of overwhelm by even minor stressors. So over time, ongoing stress depletes our body's ability to recover and recharge. And this helps to keep us stuck in a hyper alert state. This is chronic stress. And as mentioned earlier, the longer we stay in this cycle, the more we begin to fear our own thoughts and sensations. The fear becomes not just about external events anymore, but about the internal experiences themselves. For example, what happens when our heart races or we feel dizzy? This is when anxiety can start to feel like a life sentence. It's essential for us to all remember and recognize that we are not broken or damaged, but that our body and our mind are dealing with our sensitive nervous system in the best way that it can. So we want to give it a little more help. Recognizing the cycle can help to reduce some of the fear of the sensations and can help you bring a sense of control. That's a very wonderful first place to start. You are not damaged or broken. And when you can recognize that you are oversensitized and you can reduce the fear of the sensations. Okay, that sensation's there. I don't like it. It's super uncomfortable. It used to scare me, but now I kind of know that this could just be part of my sensitive nervous system. This can be the beginning. Here are some signs to identify the cycle. First, you have those physical symptoms that I was talking about, the racing heart, the shallow breathing, the muscle tension, the dizziness. Those are your physical symptoms. And emotional responses that we have here in the cycle are panic, irritability, or the feeling that something is wrong. We can have cognitive effects that we want to notice. Catastrophic thinking, such as, I'm losing control, something is seriously wrong with me. And finally, difficulty with a normal life, feeling overwhelmed by everyday situations that were once manageable. So what are we going to do here? What are we going to do to break this cycle? I have some tools and practices to calm the nervous system. And while the cycle can feel endless, believe me, I understand that. I know firsthand it's not. An interruption of this cycle is possible. And the great news is, with the right practices and tools, you can gradually calm your nervous system and break free from the cycle. Here are some tools and practices to help you break the cycle of oversensitization and return yourself back to calm. I want you to be able to get present with your surroundings using grounding exercises, for example, like a simple 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding practice. You may have heard me talk about this before. Focus on 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. These are your senses, and they can help you to break the cycle of overthinking and reduce physical symptoms of anxiety. You can use breathing exercises. Again, our Buddha belly breathing that we talk about all the time is a way to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps calm the body down after a stress response. So practice slow belly breaths. You can inhale for 4, and you can hold it for 4, and you can exhale for 6 or more. I'm not real big on numbers, but numbers do help some people. If the numbers I mentioned don't work for you, just remember to breathe in slowly, letting your belly relax, hold it briefly, and then exhale longer and slower. For a lot of people, that is easiest to remember and not getting hung up on numbers and did I do it right? A technique that you can also do that involves tensing and releasing each muscle group is called progressive muscle relaxation. This is really helpful, and we can do it from head to toe or toe to head, whichever direction you prefer. This can help the body recognize where it's holding tension. Often we say, I'm not tense, until I ask you to tense it again and then relax it. And you can relax it way further than where you were when we started. This can help release the physical tightness and help reset the nervous system. You know, I don't ever do anything without compassion, and I want you to bring that into this kind of work also. Self-compassion and patience. I want you to be kind to yourself as you move through this process because it takes time. And often we're hard on ourselves. When you're anxious, you don't have a lot of patience. I know that. So self-compassion can help you to gain some patience. Oversensitization is temporary, and it just takes time to heal. Heal is a salve, a healing salve that we all need to remember. Self-judgment and impatience only fuel the anxiety cycle. So remember to say to yourself, I am safe. I am in control. And my favorite, this too shall pass. They will be helpful in breaking the cycle of fear. Healing from oversensitization takes time, so I want you to rest and allow your body also to recalibrate. And it does that through rest. Get enough sleep. Take a nap if you need. A stressed nervous system needs recovery, and allow yourself moments of rest, breaks, and sleep. This is crucial to your long-term healing. Remember, as we're going forward here, that sensitization and this anxious state that you are in is temporary. There is no reason to think that this is a lifetime sentence. No permanent damage has happened. Stress and trauma don't leave you permanently broken, but they do leave your nervous system out of balance. Through consistent practice, your nervous system can recalibrate and reset itself. But just like recovering from an injury, healing from oversensitization takes time. Trust the process and know that every small step forward is a win. Patience is key. Even though you may not have much right now, you will gain more as you begin to bring your nervous system down. And your nervous system will eventually regain its equilibrium with the right tools and time. Remember, it's not a life sentence, this anxious path that you are currently on. The nervous system can heal, and it can heal with your practice and self-compassion. You will regain a sense of calm, peace, and balance in your life. Stay on this healing journey. Use the tools that we've shared today and in all the other episodes. There's something in there for everyone, because we all relate to our own minds and bodies differently. So there will be different things that work for different people, but you will, no matter what, come to the other side stronger, calmer, and more connected to your true nature. Thanks for being here with me today. And now for today's quote. The body is not a problem to be fixed, but a system to be understood. And that's from Gabor Mate. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.